Hello Capricorn, Elsie here to do your reading. How are you, Cappies? Thank you so much for checking in here today. I appreciate you. Capricorn, we are not using oracles this week. We are just going to go straight up tarot. We're going to do a 9-card draw. How are you, Capricorn? Thanks for, like I said, showing up here. If you're my ride or die and you're here and you're back all the time, thanks for coming back. And if you are somebody who's brand new, I hope you will stay and join this beautiful Capricorn tribe. And at the end of this video, I'm going to tell you about how to get a private read if you're interested. Also, if you'd like to see the extended, you can go into the membership area, but we'll talk about that later. And so, let's find out what's going on for the week ahead. If you've never been here before, I'm Elsie, and I do read for the week ahead. So whether you get this today, tomorrow, next year, we're not all on the same precipice right now. We're not all in the same spot in our life. It's not going to resonate for everybody. Let's tell me everyone. Okay, I'm still combining my words. I just about said everybody and everyone. I said everyone. That's what happens to me during Mercury retrograde. And all the Mercury retrograde is over. You know, finally things are starting to speed up. We still have a couple of weeks that we're in the shadow phase, right? Well, things start to get back to normal. All right. Tell me about Capricorn, please. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Capricorn, we've got the 8 of Swords. We've got the 7 of Swords. We've got the Ace of Cups. Okay, just looking over. I was just told to look at the swords. I did. Okay. Let's keep going here. Tell me about Capricorn. Got the 5 of Pentacles. Got the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. Interesting that it shows up at the center of your reading. It's the heart of the matter here. It feels like you're feeling a little bit stuck, Capricorn. And 3 of Swords is in the reverse. It feels like you're in a healing phase right now, but it does feel like you might be feeling a little bit kind of stuck. Like, when is it my turn is what it feels like when the Wheel of Fortune is in the reverse. We've got the Fool. So look, you're not going to be in that energy for much longer. We've got the Moon energy. Just got to be careful because YouTube gets a little freaky, right? All right. And then we have the 8 of Wands. So yeah, it feels like you have been, It feels like you've been feeling disconnected. Maybe feeling disconnected from your friends, maybe from your family, but it feels like maybe it's not really necessarily a disconnection from something or someone. Just disconnect. It feels like you're not interested at this time. The 8 of Swords does tell me that you're doing a lot of overthinking, and you feel like whatever it is that you're trying to figure out or trying to work out, it feels like you feel like your hands are tied. The 7 of Swords is here. And so, pardon me, the person on the 7 of Swords here is someone who is, I feel like somebody maybe lied to you, or it feels like you were deceived in some way. And I feel like it feels like someone or something. It could be a situation, could be the workplace. Take it for whatever it is for you. This is a general reading, but it feels like you were deceived in some manner or lied to. It feels like somebody tried to get away with something here, and it feels like it left you sort of overthinking the situation where you felt like your hands were tied, that there wasn't much that you could do in the situation, that you kind of felt trapped in your thoughts about it. It could have to do with something that was emotionally related, that somebody maybe cheated on you, or you caught someone lying to you about emotional things. And it could be romantic love, but understand it could be platonic love as well. So it could be a family member or a friend. It feels like here you caught someone lying to you and you don't know what to do about it. So you remain silent or pulled your energy back or pulled away. It feels like you can't move forward until it's resolved. It really feels like it's caused a block for you, or some sort of obstacle. It feels like something is caught in the cog of the wheel. I'm looking here at this wheel, and it's like one of those I was looking at somebody going across a prairie in one of those old stagecoaches, and I was looking at that. And it feels like somebody stuck a stick in the wheel, right? It does feel like there is, like you can't move forward until you make sense of this. And that makes sense to me. But it feels like you're still in the healing process, is what it feels like here. You're still in the healing process, trying to figure out what went on. Things are not as they seem. Look, I feel as though that this is, the Eight of Swords is always a place where we put ourselves. It's a mental prison, essentially. We can't stop thinking the last thing they said, or what did they mean by that? Or maybe you start going over, like any of you who've ever been cheated on, you know what I'm talking about, that's what that was. You start thinking about everything that went on up till this particular point into the current energy, and you're like, I knew it, I saw it, but I didn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it, or I didn't want to see it. And it feels like there was definitely somebody here who has lied to you or cheated here. It feels like it's really left you in a place of silence or disconnect. Things are going to move forward here. By week's end, I feel like you're going to be unstuck. We'll talk about how you can do that here, but it does feel like it is going to take some healing. This is the card for me that, if there's any card, it's this one that tells me that there may have been a third party. So the third party can be anything, though. It doesn't have to be a person, but it could be the workplace. It could be somebody was married to their job, or but it could be that somebody was like having an affair with somebody at work. Like it feels like somebody was, and it feels like it cut into you deeply, but possibly to your core. Wow, yeah. And when you told this person, I know what you're doing, or I figured out what you're doing, they just walked away and they left you there. Like this person has no coat on, they have no shoes, they're outside the church, and this person is just walking by. They're not helping, they don't care. It feels like, a discard. Somebody discarded you and said, well, if you don't like it, then I'm going. I don't think that they apologized or anything. Got Judgment here on the bottom of the deck. I'm just going to pull 2 cards here because we're going to talk about, I like that. We're going to talk about these later. But it feels like there is somebody here who I feel like you had to judge them. I'm going to say you had to, in order to be able to get out of this Eight of Swords energy. Tell me about the Seven of Swords. What is the Seven of Swords, please, for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus and Jupiter? Somebody here could be stuck for a job. You could be someone who's unemployed. And I feel like it's this cycle for you is about to come to an end, because the Three of Swords being in the reverse means that healing is already taking place and the Fool is here in the future. So it looks like you don't see it, but things are about to get better. If the Five of Pentacles for you is that you're low on funds, or that you've been financially impacted by something, look, some of you could have been financially impacted by someone who left you. But it feels like if that's the case, and you might feel stuck right now, you are going to probably by the end of next week or on the weekend find some sort of resolution here. Tell me about the Seven of Swords. What went on here? We've got the Ten of Cups. We've got the Temperance card. And we've got the King of Wands. It feels as though that you feel someone lied to you about loving you. You lied to me. And I think that in a moment of clarity, because the Hanged Man is in the reverse, in a moment of clarity, you realize that this relationship was based on fire, is what it feels like. We were very attracted to each other physically, and physical attraction is always necessary, but when it goes too quickly into the fire burns out. And if you didn't build a foundation of pentacles before that, it feels like it was probably something that was maybe an intellectual or fire sort of connection. The Temperance card is here, and it feels like there is a moment of alchemy where you get clarity. You get clarity and the realization that, that's what this was about. It was just about the pursuit. Maybe for you, Capricorn, you pursued this person, and then you realized what they really were like when you finally got right up close. It could be that it's it feels like you got right up close, and it doesn't really look like that anymore. It doesn't look like the Ten of Cups. I think that somebody was lying about wanting to have a family, or, have someone in their life for a long period of time, or create happiness with one person. I feel that you feel lied to. And it does feel like it's possibly something that is emotional for you, or of the heart space here. The Ace of Cups does tell me that that there is a new beginning coming here. Let's talk about this. But it also tells me too, the Ace of Cups and Three of Swords tells me that we began brand new, and before we knew it, it was broken. What's this? We've got the Ace of Wands. We've got the Three of Wands, lots of fire, hey? Oops. And the Queen of Cups. So I really think that you started getting in deep. I feel like you were very deep into this already. You were starting to build a future in your mind. You were starting to build a future with this person. And I don't think that you really realized that this person was in it for the fire. I feel like you were dreaming about houses, getting stability with this person, that you felt like this was a stable love, and I don't think that that's what it was. I feel like now you feel like they lied to you. Tell me why the Wheel of Fortune is here in the reverse. Why is the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse? How can you get out of this stuck energy here, Capricorn? Tell me about the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. I've got the Ten of Pentacles. You've been stuck here for a really long time in this energy of, I can't believe they did that to me, or I'm never going to trust anybody again. Like, it feels like you've been in this energy, been stuck in this energy for a really long time. The Knight of Wands, yeah. And it's an unstable energy. I feel like you do fill your time with work. I've got the Six of Pentacles. Now, the Six of Pentacles, we can see here that somebody here is giving and giving and giving, and someone here is taking. I don't see anybody giving anything back. I feel like you wanted to have someone give back to you like you were giving, but look, nobody gives like the Queen of Pentacles, right? Whether you're feminine or masculine, Queen of Pentacles is Capricorn energy. No one really gives like you, right? You're the person who will provide all of the things, the house, the home. You'll take care of somebody. You will adorn them. You will feed them. It's like you're wanting to make their life really easy. But I think that the Knight of Wands tells me that while you were busy trying to provide, while you were busy trying to give this person all of you, that the Knight of Wands was going on in the distance here. I think that you ignored it because look, she's looking right at the Knight of Wands. And Knight of Wands is instability. Somebody who feels like they can make a brave move outside the relationship, because I feel like the relationship you had was a long-term relationship. So you were giving and giving and giving, but it feels like somebody else here was not in it as deeply as you were. And it feels like this could have happened 5 years ago, right? But I feel like the revelation or the realization comes in the week ahead. So it feels like you've been stuck in this place for this long. It feels like it's a really long time because the Ten of Pentacles is here. So it feels like you've been in this loop of thinking about, I was the one that gave and gave and gave, and this person was giving me passion, but they weren't really giving me anything else. It's almost like you're going over it again, like in your head saying, well, I thought that we were going to be at this a lot longer than we were. Feels like you keep going over all the details in your head with the Knight of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. It feels like you can't get out of this loop of thought process, this obsessive thought process. Now, I feel like coming to the end of next week or on the weekend, it feels like you're feeling a little bit better, or feeling like you're understanding a little bit as to why the Three Swords was here, the disappointment or the heartbreak, and it feels like you are starting to repair. There, I like that. The Queen of Swords starts to make logic of the situation. Well, maybe they weren't supposed to be on my path forever. Maybe I mistook their passion for love. Maybe I need to sort of reassess as to how I let people in my life. Maybe this person was a love bomber. Maybe they were just beautiful or very handsome, and this person was like thirst trap energy, and because that's what I get from the Knight of Wands. So the Queen of Swords is what I really love. Is the reason that you start to heal here is because you start to make logical sense of it. You start to remember the conversations and think about what we were talking about, and oh, that's what they meant when they said this. But it still leaves you in this Eight of Swords energy, right? Tell me about the Queen of Swords. We've got the Nine of Swords, but the 9 and 1 with the Queen is 10. So look, you get to release it. I like that. Look, it feels like you start making logical sense of it instead of looking at it in an emotional way. And I feel like that's where the healing begins here. We've got the Devil energy here as well. So it feels as though you realize now, like in the week ahead, it feels like you realize this was a really codependent relationship. This was super codependent, that you had this person in your life, possibly because they were very beautiful, handsome. They seemed like they had it all together. And when you got up really close, you realized that they were kind of flaky, actually. They were unstable in their passionate energy, unstable in their finances, possibly. And it looks like you realize that it was codependency. You were depending on them for the passion to make you feel good, and they were depending on you for finances so they could do whatever they wanted to do. So we do have the Fool energy, right? The Fool energy tells me that there is a new chapter opening, but that you don't know that it's coming. Your back is to it. But we do have the Moon energy, which is things that, things aren't as they seem. So I feel like you're starting to realize that this was actually quite codependent, and that the Queen of Swords, now you have boundaries. You also have cut yourself away from this. Now you've released it, because the 10 swords is, yes, it's pain. Look, some people stay in the 9 forever because they don't want to go to the 10. The 10 is painful. I was betrayed. You have to really look at yourself in the mirror, right? And so I feel like once all this is done, now you're on the way. Now you're sort of in this healed energy where it's time for you to step forward quickly here. It's a realization, right? The Hanged Man is in the reverse. It's an aha moment, and we are moving on for victory. So we're going to go into the extended, and we're going to talk about all of that. Bottom of the deck, this is a gift you're giving yourself here. Page of Pentacles tells me you're on your way. Brand new cycle is here, and you're about to put a little bit of energy into something new. So if you're interested in coming into the extended, we're going to talk about the things we haven't clarified. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about that. And if you want to be in the extended, please look at the top of the comments. There is a pinned comment there if you're interested. You can either purchase this extended outright if you're interested in doing that, or you can come into the membership area where all of the extendeds are for one low price. If you are interested in a private reading, I am offering pre-recorded readings. I'm also offering live readings, having so much fun doing those. So 5 to 75% off of the live readings if you'd like to do that with me, or please go check my pricing and you'll see what's going on there. I'm going to go for now. Thank you so much for coming here and watching. I appreciate you. I'm going to go into the extended now. If I see you there, great. And if I don't, I'll be back, because, well, I'm just always back. You guys take care. Bye-bye.